One of the most important questions or query or anxiety in the students who are pursuing their higher education is what will be their career after once they have cleared their examinations. Now that is up to you to decide whether you want to be a job giver or you want it to be a job taker. It's good if you want to be a job taker, then it's okay because the whole world opportunities are in front of you. Placements are not. And if you want to be a job giver, that means you need to be an entrepreneur. And if you are planning for an entrepreneur, that is a great thing. But now again the question comes up that if you want to be an entrepreneur, then what about the financial support? Because most of the main problem is that you do not have much of, you have to invest and you do not have much of financial support. Then what? So if you want to start up your own organization with minimum of investment or rather say with no investment at all, that will depend on your wise decision and what you have to take up. The best option is to have a startup. That is, you start with a very small scale, minimum of the scale, with minimum of investment or rather no investment. You need to have certain qualities. What qualities do you need? That you can refer to my other episodes, the qualities of an entrepreneur. But then, if you have the inertia, if you have a little bit of quality of taking up the risk, at that time it's most important and very important that you can go for a startup. It's not only that you have to be a student of higher education. Even if you have no education at all, or you have lesser education, then also you can go for a startup. But if you are a higher education student, then that is an additional plus point for you to take up a startup. But before you go for a startup, you need to incubate a good idea and then proceed for a startup. But first of all, you must know what is a startup.
What is a startup? You must have heard about companies Coursera, Flipkart, Airbnb, Facebook, and Uber. These companies are based on different niches, but what unites them? All these companies have started developing and validating scalable business models with initial funding from their own pockets, families, and friends. They are termed as startups. So, startup can be defined as young company founded by one or more entrepreneurs to develop unique products or services into the market with initial funding from the founders and their friends and families. Why have startups seen an exponential rise in past few years? Starting a business has now become a trending activity. 10% of the people from the 18 to 34 age range want to quit monotonous tasks and establish their own empire. But even after knowing the risk involved in demand, technology, execution, and funding, why do they choose this path? Money matters. Traditional corporate ladders climbing doesn't suit them. Starting their own companies give them an option to pursue their dreams rather than getting lodged in mundane activities, easy availability of resources. The internet is surely a boon, right from top investors and resources to the daily term as a startup. It has been extremely easy to get started. The 106 million Google answers are surely enough for anyone too. Types of startups. Unicorn Decarathon. Coined by venture capitalist LLE in 2013, a privately owned startup that is valued over $1 billion is known as a unicorn. During those times, a company reaching the point of $1 billion was rare. Hence, Lee chose the mythical animal unicorn to depict the rarity of such cream layer ventures. However, over time resulted in the introduction of term like decacorn, a venture that has valuation of $10 billion, and hetacorn, companies valued over $100 billion. Decacorns are evolved version of unicorns. Uber, Dropbox, Snap, SpaceX, WeWork, etc. are some of the renowned decacorns. There are a total of 197 unicorns in the world. The top 5 worldwide being Uber, DiDi, Xiaomi, Meeten, Dianping, Airbnb, while the top 5 in India are Flipkart with a valuation of $21 billion, Paytm with a valuation of $16 billion, Byju's with a valuation of $10.5 billion, Oyo with a valuation of $10 billion, Snapdeal with a valuation of $7 billion, and a report by CB Insight states that of the over 384 unicorns which exist globally, collectively valued at over $1.19 trillion, over 21 are decacorns that have scaled over $10 billion in valuation in recent times. From India, Byju's, Paytm, and Oyo are the only three decacorns to have reached the 10 billion valuations. Recently, Byju's became the third Indian startup to be a decacorn after having 50 million users in its platform, even though paid users count is 3.5 million and its annual renewal rate are as high as 85%. The impact of startup revolution in India. Up to April 2020, as per Google report, there were over 465 unicorns globally, with the largest being Ant Financial, Didi, Airbnb, Stripe, and Palantir Technologies. Our country has given birth to 30 unicorns as of date, while 70% these companies being headquarters at Bangalore and Delhi NCR. Today, this country is expected to witness a YoY consistent annual growth rate of 12 to 15%. Indeed, there is no doubt that the rise of startup is playing a huge role in India's economy. A recent study states that India will be home to around 70 to 100 unicorns by 2025, with e-commerce and fintech sectors leading us to a maximum number of $1 billion companies, while e-commerce, fintech, and healthcare have reached YoY of rate of over 20%. E-tech and travel tech and logistics have to bring the same impact in fintech and healthcare by 2022. To know more about entrepreneurship, startup,
and you can always come to us. We are here to help you out in all the areas that require to start a startup. We are here to guide you. If you want to put your question, there is a question box. You can always put their questions in the caption. There are books also written by me on entrepreneurship and project planning. You can refer to them. You want to have training, then the books are there. And any time that you want to have your own startup, please do come and have good guidance as to how you should have your startup. Best of luck for your career, and for my personal advice, it's good to be a job giver.